I'm stoked to do this. I interview lots of tradesmen, lots of linemen, but I always enjoy getting somebody from outside the industry or adjacent to it on the pod. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Am I your first clown?
First clown?
I'll try to be gentle.
Yeah.
I'll try to be gentle.
Speaking of friend clown though, like how clown? Why clown? How did you?
Man, so the 30 second on me, I started I was just a cowboy. Yeah. You know, growing up, I always wanted to be a cowboy. I love the lifestyle, I love all of that. But my mom is an attorney. My stepfather I grew up with is a Superior Court judge.
So you need some humor in the house.
When you put those together, clearly the kid should be a rodeo clown. But no, I went to Washington State University, rodeoed for Washington State, graduated with a teaching degree, and I was teaching school. And had taught for 5-6 years before the rodeo clown thing even came up. You know, it wasn't something I ever thought I would do, make him work nights. This is not a job I aspired to. But it's funny how I've always been the class clown. I've always been the guy that when there's a party, I want everybody to feel a part of it. I want, you know, you speak to everybody in the room. You make your rounds. And then my mom taught me that. You know, I used to have to practice as a kid talking to the lamps. Like no joke. Like seriously, she would, hey, thank you for coming and how are you? It's nice to see you know. And so when you grow up with that, it's funny how that translates right into every facet of your life. It's how you treat people. Yeah. But back to the point, I started rodeoing as a rodeo clown and teaching school. And so I rodeoed in the summertime as the clown. And a guy named Pat Beard got me started, big stock contracting company. And that led me into a career that I just, over the last 20 years, I've had, you know, I've worked in National Finals Rodeo. I've worked about every large scale rodeo in our industry that I've chosen to. And I attribute a lot of that to the people around me, you know, and working hard, being respectful. And then I got this amazing opportunity. It started through Zane Brink, just kind of bared witness to me at one time. And we had a rodeo ambassador program, and we still do. And he put me on the ambassador team. And you know, the way that I'm different now as an entertainer is I've got a microphone for 2.5 to 3 hours a night. I'm an entertainment guy, and in addition to the bullfighter safety aspect. So it was a great way, he thought, and I agreed, that we could get Quanta Services messages out, you know. And so that's where it started.
I try to listen to people's stories and then try to pluck things out of that would benefit like the audience, right? It's kind of like, I feel like my job, right? Yeah. So for linemen, I wasn't thinking about going here, but like you're a great communicator. I realized that today when you jumped up in front of, you know, I've been to a few rodeos. I grew up in a small town called Williams Lake in British Columbia, Canada, the second largest rodeo in Canada at the time when I was young. Great. Small little town. So been to a lot of rodeos, seen like people like yourself work, right? Yeah. But I just realized like you're such a good communicator. I talk about communication a lot on the podcast. Yeah. And I try to help linemen and tradesmen be better communicators. Yeah. Can you give some sauce there? Like what's some sauce for being a better communicator? Because I think it's something that it's super, super important.
Right.
And it's something that we keep talking about today being bad at.
Don't be afraid of saying the wrong thing. I think I think we all have an insecurity that the guys that are quiet, the wallflowers that won't ask the pretty girl to dance, those are the ones, and it all comes down to insecurity, that we're so afraid that someone's gonna say you're not right, or you don't know what you're talking about, or what do you even, you know, and so we hide, we get in our little shell, and we just stay away from those, you know, getting up in front of groups. The fear of judgment is so powerful that you have to just kind of throw yourself into it almost and take the chances. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think the best thing for me is that I've always just said with any kind of speaking engagement I ever do, you know, I take input. You know, if you got something you want to add, I love Q&As. Those are always my favorite thing. But, and then there is some, you know, some of it can't be taught.
Sure.
Some of it can't. You know, there's just ways. You look at Hollywood types. Jim Carrey is funny whether he's talking or not. Yeah. Alrighty then. You know, and it's his face and all of those things. So I think some of it is auditory communication. Some of it is just the mannerisms in which you carry yourself. I use humor. Not everybody responds to humor. There's people at rodeos that old codgers that sit down and
Just
by God, they watched the rodeo in 1943 and they want to come back and they want to watch that horse work. Out of the way, clown, I'm trying to watch the rodeo. And so learning your audience, I'm not going to go, no, hey, you're like me. And, you wouldn't do that. You go, all right, that's not my audience. And I think surrounding yourself with people that, and honestly practicing, if you really want to be a good communicator, talk to yourself in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror, and you're gonna watch your face do something weird, and you'll be like, oh my God, is that really me? Do I look like that? And I do that all the time. Even still, I practice what I'm gonna say, and if you're insecure about it, writing your points down, you want to stay on topic, that's important. I wander. I'm okay with wandering. I think some of the best dialogue you ever get in your life is when you wander off into the bushes and come back out and a covey of quail flew out, and you're like, wow, I didn't even know we were going to talk about it, but because it just relaxing your own brain helps you communicate with people, and trying to just not be afraid to say the wrong thing. Just say, hey, let's talk about it. Here's what I think is a powerful statement. Here's what I'm thinking. Am I understanding you right? I mean, there's lots of great speakers, but especially now that I have employees, I've been my own boss for 22 years of the clown job, right? But everywhere I go, I treat the rodeo like they're my boss. I'm here to serve them. Well, now I've got employees that I want them to act like me with these rodeo committees. So how do I convey to them how to communicate effectively? And it always just comes back to just be really respectful, and if you're having any kind of problem, just say, this is what I think you're saying. Is this what you want? Is this how we're doing? Really be open to being wrong. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Be wrong all the time.
How do you get to know your audience?
When I show up at a rodeo, it's one of the old school ways was I would read the paper. It's crazy how much funny stuff is in the paper. The world's largest watermelon is from, Huckachuck, New Jersey or whatever, and you just kind of develop some things that's going to be relevant. Being relevant to your audience, I think, is important.
Sure.
And so people that communicate effectively find a way to make things relevant to their audience, get their point across. A lot of that I got from teaching school. The reality is I taught middle school. Now that is a hormone-infested nightmare. And here I am trying to communicate, educate, and I'm just like, you don't care about dominant alleles and genetics. Like, I know that you don't, but you like me. I'm funny to you, so you engage. I put down your guard, and really that's what you're doing. Teachers are just entertaining, and they slip a little learning in when you're not ready for it. Because the most important part I've always felt is that the number one thing is they need to feel comfortable with you. Your audience needs to feel comfortable with you. At a rodeo, to answer your question actually, is I'm very physical comedy, and I'm very auditory, so they can hear me, they can see me, but I want to be the one that they don't feel dumb to come up and ask a question to. There's no stupid questions, right? That age-old thing. I want to be the one that they come up, ask those just crazy questions to. And some of them are a little out there, but they feel comfortable with me. So at the end of the rodeo, I don't have any clue who they are, but they feel like they know me because I'm just very real. I'm just very honest. When something, I've done comedy and I know it failed, and just been, well, that one didn't work. Sorry everyone, dumb clown alert. Who cares? Self-deprecating humor eases every tension in a room. So if you ever want, and you watch the great speakers, they can all do it. They can all go to that self-deprecating humor where they're not afraid, and it exudes confidence. To you. So, like with my guys, with my little crew, and we're small with the Quanta Express, it is, I encourage us to have some comedy with each other, and they can, pick on me and I can pick on them back, and we can come at each other. I do this all the time with school assemblies. I do anti-bullying assemblies, and I don't think I'm the one that invented this, but I definitely do it a lot. And I define the difference between bullying and teasing. because those are
What
very
are the
different
differences?
things. Yeah.
What are the differences?
So teasing you do when you're friends, when there's a balance of power, when you're equals. And that doesn't mean, if I have an employee, we can still be equals as human beings. I have a job to do, and my job is to oversee things that you're doing, but we are equals as human beings. That's important for him to know. I'm no better a human being than you are. I have my job, you have your job, and we interact in that capacity, but we feel a balance of power as humans. And so that we can tease it. I've got big ears. I've always had big ears. My hair is not what you call sexy. So let's joke about these things. I can laugh at myself. We can tease each other about leaving a door open on the truck, or but there's a balance of power. I tease them, they tease me back. That's the relationship. Bullying behavior happens when there's not a balance of power. When all of a sudden I'm trying to elevate myself over someone else, and I'm using that same teasing, but it's not reciprocal. It's not coming back. And if it did come back and I punish, or I get after him for that, or that's when it crosses into bullying. You're not friends with that person. There's an imbalance of power. And then it always comes back to, too, with kids especially, well, what do you do with that? And I always do, okay, well, what do? You tell the teacher, oh, come on, kid, you're a tattletale. And I say that to the kid, and then you can all the oxygen gets sucked out of the room, and every teacher in the building's like, why are you saying that to the kid? We're trying to say we want them to tell, But the reality is society has already kind of branded that, right? So I used to beat my head against the wall. Being a tattletale is a good thing. I used to have all kinds of little tricks we want to tattle because tattle's smart. No, you tattletale when someone's teasing you.
Yeah.
And the opposite side of that is report. What do reporters do? They give facts. Yeah. So when you see bullying behavior, you're a reporter. You're not interjecting your opinion. We hope media doesn't do that, but where they're giving the facts of what happened. And so I try to get kids to understand, if you see bullying behavior, you report it as a reporter would. If you're tattletaling on somebody teasing you, yeah, right, get out of the way. Yeah. Johnny comes up to the desk at the end of the room, Mike threw a pencil at me.
Why did you get into that?
Do the assemblies?
Yeah.
Because it's a way to give something back. I mean, as my notoriety as a rodeo clown elevated, it was kind of just a way to stay connected with public education. Yeah. It's a message that teachers work with every day, but sometimes having a different guy say the same thing is important. I think just, every time you have that, hearing the same message over and over from the same person, then you hear it from somebody else, and you're like, oh, that's what he meant. Maybe they give that opportunity to the kids.
How do you describe your type of comedy?
Off the cuff, wing it. I'm a fan of winging it type of comedy. I'm a fan of relevance. Make fun of the situation. Situational comedy is important. But you think about my job as a rodeo clown, I'm a stand-up comedian, but I'm on the world's most dangerous stage. Like, there's things that could kill me. Yeah. So it's you have to be aware of the surroundings. You also have to understand that so many stand-up comedians can deliver a look back at the camera, and that's what makes it funny. Well, you don't have that luxury as a rodeo clown, because timing can sometimes be given to you and then swept away right away, because you're filling lulls in the action. You're not the show. They didn't buy a ticket to the J.J. Harrison comedy show. They bought a ticket to the Sisters Rodeo. So you don't necessarily become the show. I always say I'm like salt. A little bit of me, I make everything better. You put me in any room, I'm gonna make it better, more enjoyable for people. But too much of me, you gotta throw it out. You get too much salt on your steak, you gotta chuck it, right? It's gone too far. And so you find that balance of just the right ingredient.
How did you find that balance? Just trial and error?
Trial and error is a lot of it. Watching people in the industry that had success, watching people that failed.
Because I think anybody could take that as advice too, not just like in comedy, but it's like, a little bit of salt's enough, a little bit of me's enough, not a lot. Yeah.
Be a great garnish. Yeah. Never try to be the meal. I feel that there are people out there that overdo things, and my biggest flaw is I'm an overtalker. I just will keep rattling and rattling, and it's like, okay, you're off on, again, like I said earlier, I go down tangents, and I think it's great, but some people don't enjoy that. They're trying to follow you, and they're like.
But it's a bit on them then as well, like, because you got the ability to interject too.
Yeah.
Like I got the ability to go, hang on a second.
Yeah,
Like,
stop me.
You know, I don't just have to let you rattle off for an hour and a half. Like, that's what other people should figure that out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of mindset does it take to do what you do?
There's a touch of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a touch of adrenaline junkie. Let's call it that.
Sure.
Adrenaline junkie. I always wanted to be smoke jumper. I always wanted to do, I wanted to do the tough job. I wanted to do the scary job. I wanted to do the manly thing. I'll admit that. Like, it was just, I wanted to be able to do it. So I think that's important to have that initial mindset in the aspect of, I'm going to work with bulls. You know, when I first started as a rodeo clown, I was more of the entertainer, strictly entertainment, man. I was all over. I was just a fart in a skillet running all over the arenas. I'd be at the back and down on the arena floor and back up in the back of the stands over here and just everywhere. And a guy named Wayne Brooks caught me after Effective Sisters Rodeo I talk a lot about, but it was after that rodeo, and it was my first big rodeo that I'd ever worked. And, you know, I'm decked up and it's just all energy. I'm just all energy. Yeah. And he said, you know, there's an ebb and a flow to the rodeo. And you don't want to hold your audience up here the whole time. You don't do that.
Yeah,
you let
all
them come
jacked
down.
Yeah.
You let them come back down. That's been the hardest part for me in developing my style is I want to just take the audience to this screaming, you know, Metallica concert, the best song just came on moment, and hold it for 2.5 hours. They wear people out.
Yeah.
You know, people at the end of it, then when it comes time to the bull riding, which is the frosting on the cupcake or rodeo, everyone's like so tired. They're like, this clown's wore us out. So I love crowd interaction, but it's picking and choosing the moments for it, you know, finding, and timing is everything. Timing is impeccable in my job, because you can't, if you have bad timing, you're gonna be terrible at the job. You just are, because you're gonna have, something's gonna pop into your head, or you're gonna witness something that's really funny, or that you think the audience will really eat it up, but you can't say it. You know why? Because the announcer is telling who's up, and we're describing something else, and it's not the right time for it. And then the entertainers or the people that they have that nugget and they just can't let it go, they're going to force it out. Well, it was really good in that moment, but you held on to it too long, and now when you say it, it just doesn't fit, and now it's like, okay.
Well, how much of that too, then, you bring up a good point, how much of that too is that chemistry between you and the announcer?
Huge.
Yeah. And how do you work that relationship? Like, what's some nuggets there of like?
You got it. Just like anything, he's got to be the boss.
Yeah.
He's got to be the boss, because when he speaks, if I'm talking, you cannot have two voices coming over an intercom. It just doesn't work. Be like you doing a podcast and we're talking at the same time, you know. And so you have to have a little give and take, but there has to be one guy who's the captain of the ship, and I run the poop deck on the boat, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. But I think that's probably given me the most success in working with the announcers that I choose to, because they know they can trust me, that they can throw it to me, and I'm going to take the little moment, but I'm going to be watching situationally what's happening, and I'm going to make sure that I try to get it back to them so that they can do their job. Their job is to steer the ship, talk about the rodeo, set up the storylines, the contestants, and paint the picture for rodeo people and people who've never been to a rodeo. The announcer is an integral part, you know. Yeah. And what's funny is the announcer is really the key job to make the rodeo smooth flow. But when you ask people at the end of the day, what was your favorite part? 90% of the time, this guy. Yeah. Because I was that break in the announcer's voice. I was I'm the little salt that just kind of, and what's funny is it's life. Yeah. You know, sometimes there's that, your parents, you know, and then you get older and sometimes.
Well, there's a lesson there for the crews as well. That's what I was kind of digging into, is like, that could be that crew foreman that's like the announcer, right? Yeah. And the rest of the crew, you know, again, a little bit of salt, that good relationship, that good chemistry between the two, understanding who's the boss, who's the leader, all of that really plays into crew dynamics.
Big time. Crew, there's a term that I just got that Zane actually gave me, crew flu.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a real thing.
Explain it.
it's a situation where you've got one guy that just is always negative. That just, you can't get him on board. You're trying to drag, and I'm a pep talk guy. I don't like to leave a guy behind. I like to fix everybody, and there's just times when it's just not a right fit, and it's not the right position for that person. And that's really, really hard, because I'm just more of like, I'm going to give you a pep talk, and I'm going to tell you why you're awesome and why we want you here, and it's going to fix you. And you're going to be, then your whole atmosphere is going to change, and your mindset, and you're going to be positive and interactive with the team. But it doesn't work all the time. And so that person, you need to help them find where they can excel. Because it's not going to be in that environment. But what you don't want is for their negativity and behind the back chit chatties. Does he know what he's doing? Jay is an idiot. I mean, you want it to be a situation where we all rise together and we all fall together. We're a team, and crew flu, I think, is a real thing, where I don't want that negativity to pretty soon I've got another guy that's like, yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right.
Yep.
And he was great, and all of a sudden he's been, and I think that trying to be exclusivity is dangerous, with only inviting certain people to do outside stuff. I think everybody is invited. I want everybody around me, and that's I think, hopefully, one of the things that people enjoy about me is that they always feel like, heck yeah, I want you here. Yeah, get over here. Yeah, I want everybody to feel a part of my team, my crew. And that includes my bosses, Dave and all of the guys that I work for. I'm inviting them to everything. I want them to come to rodeos. Whether if the stagecoach is there, great. But if it's a rodeo that just I'm doing, who cares? Come to the rodeo. I want you to experience all of it. If I have it, we have it.
How did you learn that? Because we were just talking off air about team, and I think that's important. Like I was just telling you, I'll tell these guys, one thing that I just learned from you was how important it is to support your team and put them on a pedestal and really give them the praise that they deserve. And I feel, like I was saying, I feel like I do a good job, but I feel like there's room for improvement. And that's one thing that I literally just learned from you. We'll talk about the importance of team and talk about, like, where did you learn that?
One word.
Yeah.
One word.
Yeah.
Football. Football. For me, it was football. I loved football. I loved the game. I loved being the quarterback. I love everything about it, but there is no team that's going to snap the ball to one guy while 11 guys come and tackle him. I don't care who you are, you're not going to have success. In fact, you can have the best offensive linemen in the game. They can give you all the time in the world, but if your receivers can't catch the ball, you're not going to go anywhere. If you don't have a strong tailback, you're not going to be able to score touchdowns, you're not going to be able to run the ball. And then if you don't have a powerful defense, you can put 95 points on the board, but if they score 96, you still lose.
Yeah.
So it's having everybody around you feel that their part is integral to the success of our team. And you watch good quarterbacks, when you see them getting interviewed, who do they give credit to? Everybody else. Yeah. And granted, you get the credit as the boss. When the stagecoach does well, I run the stagecoach team, so I have people come up and they tell me that. My first thing to tell them is that, man, you see how calm and cool Mark was? You know who found those horses? Mark Drummond. You know who got them all hitched up? That's my man Tyrell. So you try to pass off to those people when they come to you, and then it benefits you in that you become a humble, and they see your humility, and we're encouraged by that. We like that. We like people who are humble. If I said, yeah, boy, I was on tonight. Boy, I really nailed it. Next question. Well, then that guy, you're like,
yeah,
okay. It was immediately just a little bit of a foul taste. So you never. I always feel like you rise and fall, and sports gave me that. You can put that analogy into basketball, or you're Canadian, so curling for you, right? Yeah, big curling.
Oh, hockey, ice hockey.
Okay, and hockey too. Yeah. I love hockey as well. But for me, it was football. Honestly, it was the sports atmosphere where you learn that you live and die by the brothers that are with you, and sisters. Not to exclude it. There are not a lot of girls playing football, but the working relationship you have now. I have a lady that works for me. She's on my team, and so you make sure that she feels I mean, she's not even here, but today at the meeting, I bragged her up. You know, I love to be proud.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of my people
That's cool.
that are around me, and I'm proud of my boss. I'm proud of the people who allow me to do the job that I do. It's very neat. I got to interview in Rapid City. We put Dave, runs LazyQ here, Webmaker. We put him up on a stage. Now I think he's going to admit that he's not really a talker. He's a very intelligent, very analytical thinker, and very incredibly smart guy. Yeah. But speaking to a large group is not really his thing. So it was fun to interview him, and just like this, a situation where, you know, I'm interviewing him, but I'm asking him questions that I know he can hit massive home runs with. Yeah. But it was fun to watch. Even at the beginning, I got this guy that you know, he's my boss, and I'm trying to put him at ease, but he's shaking. He's shaking, and then by the end of it, he realized, I think, along the path, that just like anything, decompressed a little bit. He knows this. He's got this. His confidence went up as a human being and answering these questions. And pretty soon you could see the whole thing. Then he's stopping me. And one more thing. And I'm like, yes.
Perfect.
And
Nailed
it's so
it.
fun to see people grow in that little capacity. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that, in my mind, could be a life coach. You know, and I love having him in my life. But it's so fun to watch that maybe I helped him develop that little component for himself.
I've watched that personally. It's something I learned through podcasting, was trying to, like, people that aren't like yourself, media trainer, like, can just speak off the cuff, right? People like Dave or people like that, you know, need a little bit of warming up. You get them into it with a few questions that they can easily answer. Things they know something about, things they get excited about talking about. And then it's like, sweet, got you. Now we can ask you some tricky questions or something. Yeah, you're comfortable. Yeah, we do, like, at Quanta, over the last couple of years, we've started to build this Quanta Elite program. Have you heard anything about the Quanta Elite program?
Yeah, but now I'm excited.
So they recognize that the foreman position, I just think it's cool that you're talking about the football team, because I brought this up recently, that foreman position is such a valuable and integral part of the organization, right? They're really like, and I use the example, like, they're like that quarterback. They're like that person that they got the crew and the team out on the field.
They know the play.
You know, they know the play, they know the team, they know everybody in there, but they're also having to walk that line of, like, dealing with upper management and general management and coaching staff, and they're that position, that real go-between. That's our foreman in the field. They are that go-between. They're dealing with upstairs, trying to figure out the numbers of the job and all that, but they're dealing with the guys on the crew, making sure that they get what they need. I don't know if you had anything else to add to that, but, like, I just really love that, I don't know, correlation.
That's exactly right. I mean, my job is just to stay on budget. You know, Jeremy, the CFO down here at the LazyQ, is phenomenal, and like, you're just like one of my better friends that I have. Just instantly, it just click with him really well. But our business relationship is, if we have something that we need, my first call is usually to him. Hey, you know, we need to pick up 2 more horses. We need to work on this vehicle. You know, whatever it is, if it costs money, that's my guy. And so staying on the budget is incredibly important. Well, that's my general manager. You know, that's the GM on the football team. That, you know, hey, Tom Brady just became available. Yeah, but Tom Brady's $42 million a year. We can't afford that. So go pull Brett Favre out of retirement, make him work for $2,000. You know, whatever. It's a joke. But you know, I mean, there are ways that you have to be successful in the constraints of the situation. And I think being close with those people is helpful. And a good quarterback is, you know,
they're going to help those guys communicate with the guys on the field too. And they're going to help the guys in the field communicate with the guys upstairs, speak the same language, you know.
Well, what I love too is, just in my situation with the stagecoach team, is Dave and Trevor and all the guys that are here just making this happen. Little Pete, I mean, all those guys communicate with my crew all the time. Their phone number, they all got each other's phone numbers. And I'm just, you know, I love the positivity of that. And I have to, as a foreman or a boss or whatever you want to label me as, I have to be comfortable to not be afraid of that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna, you know, he's gonna be mad at me and he's gonna call Dave, or he's gonna, you know, I have to have guys on my team and know my relationship with them, that doesn't bother. Yeah, call them. Heck yeah, no problem. And I think hopefully that's how I come off, because that's what I believe. I believe that's important. And you know, sometimes there's tough situations, and I want to talk to them. Go, because I'm a cellophane soul. I mean, everything about me is just open and out, and not everybody's that way, but you can just see right through me. You want to know what I think about something? Ask me, and I'm going to tell you. In fact, I'm going to over-talk it to the point where you can be like, "God, shut up. We know how you feel, clown, pipe down." You know, my wife and I, she's beautiful and amazing in my life, and like literally changed my whole world when we got married, 2019. So 7 years ago, been together for about 9. And, you know, I was married before and had kids, and so did she. And so we're a blended family. But the minute that I met her, I knew this was the one for me, because she is the only person in the world that can get me to shut up with a look.
Oh, wow.
Like just a look.
Does she do training and courses on this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. She's Italian. She's expensive, but yeah. But I mean, she can do it from across the room. It's funny. Like, I can just look at her and then I know I'm being too much, because I'm a lot, you know, I'm a lot of energy. I'm a lot of excitement. I try to always just be the energy guy, but you can tell that's not what every situation doesn't call for that.
Sure.
And so she's helped me even with my own crew. Like, she's like, you know, just let them figure it out. Let them figure it out.
So what is the advice there then? What's the advice that she's giving you that other people like yourself could benefit from?
Let people figure it out on their own, and it's longer knowledge. You know, it's teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. It's to give him a fish, you feed him for the day. I'm like a fish factory, man. You want to fish?
Well, to be honest, like a lot of tradesmen, a lot of linemen are like that. Like ADHD, my kid is like, every lineman I know is. That's why they can't sit in rooms like this today.
Yeah, it's hard.
for 12 hours. They want to be outside and they're just amped and itching to do that.
Yeah.
So,
No, and probably to put it into the trade, it would be the guy that, you know, the student or the young man comes down. He's like, I'm having trouble with this. Oh, done. Yeah, I got it. No, man, those are the moments. Those are the opportunities, and that's where Mr. Warren down here is phenomenal. It's like, yeah, I'm a hard ass. I'm tough. It's hard. My program's hard, but it needs to be hard, because I don't want you to be out there and have a moment where you don't know, and somebody else just comes up and fixes it, and you never put it together then. You know, and I think that's the problem. That's where you give the guy a fish. You went up and solved his problem, and that lineman came down, but he doesn't really know exactly how things are working out, but they are. And, you know, so he just got given a fish. Yeah. But going up there or teaching him how to do it, he has to problem solve, he has to create it, or she. Then all of a sudden you're teaching that person to fish, and now they can do it for the rest of their life. And that's probably what my wife is really good about with my son, because my kids, they're spoiled rotten. I mean, I have a little 6-year-old daughter, and her love is for sale, and I'm buying. Okay, I don't care. She can live with me forever. She'll even admit it. But the reality is, you know, when she came into my life, my relationship with my son, we were, you know, kind of a single. Not really single dad, but it was, you know, divorces are tough. And so my ex-wife is great. We don't fight. It's hard to fight with me. Like, you can have it, you want it. But it was still different, because now I've got my son, I'm rodeoing full time. So here I've got this, you know, little 6, 7, 8-year-old boy, and we're together, and it's like man camp, and it's really fun. But then I don't eat. I forget to eat a lot. Yeah. And, you know, a kid, you got to feed those things. So when my wife comes around, she's like, do you know what your son does at the rodeo when you're out there? I had no clue. And I was like, well, yeah, you know, I told him to stay with his family. He eats off people's plates. He literally walks over to people with a plate of fries and will ask if he can have one and take a fry from random people. She's like, what is that? I'm like,
that's amazing.
I don't know. I'm in the arena. He's eating. I mean, that's, you know, it's not like at the end if he said I'm hungry, I'd take him to dinner, I'd buy him an 8-course meal, but he never said he was hungry.
Yeah, you're not purposely starving him, it's just slipped.
Yeah, he's doing the bleacher buffet, and she's like, we're fixing this. And so right off the bat, it was funny, because, you know, he is just so ingrained with my wife now. They're just tight. You know, he almost leans on her for more parental advice than me. I'm the wild card. Yeah. I'm Mr. Fun Pants. I'm the checkbook. But she is really the educator and making him a better human being.
Something that I've been talking about a lot in the last couple of years in the trades is like treating your body better, right?
Yeah.
Staying fit, that sort of thing. Because like I think a lot of tradesmen don't realize that they're like athletes. You know, they don't treat themselves like athletes.
Yeah.
I think it's improving a lot these days. What have you learned about staying in shape, keeping physically fit? What do you do? Because I've heard you run miles and miles in the arena at night.
Yeah.
How do you do that in cowboy boots?
We did, well, I don't wear cowboy boots in the arena, so that helps. I have a real athletic look to me when I am in the arena. My record was 24 miles in one day, and that was one of those little pedometer. I think pedometer.
You got it.
Corrected on you. We'll fix that and edit. But it was, they put one of those on me. Now that was the full day. That was going from the trailer to the arena,
Sure.
all over the
Still.
place. But 24 miles,
Yeah.
that's a lot. I mean, that's almost a marathon, right? So, and that's one day, 24-hour period. So I move a lot. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of motion, and that keeps my body moving. But I am as stiff as a board, and I get hit, by bulls. And so, honestly, I finally started using doctors. When you're a cowboy, the hat says, by God, I can handle this.
Yeah.
You're bleeding. Yeah, long ways from the heart, And unfortunately, that's kind of a cowboy or lineman thing. We're tough, so we're not going to show weakness. We're going to show that. Well, the doctors are there for a reason. Longevity becomes something that I think gets into your brain as I started having kids and families and saying, if I get injured, I blow a knee, knock on wood, I can't work. There is no paycheck in rodeo if I cannot perform. So I had to start kind of transitioning to that. In terms of staying in shape, obviously I run a lot there, but I really I recoup my body. I beat on it and then try to recoup it. And beating on it, luckily for me, keeps it in shape. I'm not a very big guy, so I try to
Well, a lot of people talk about recovery now being important. So
obviously massage, it's funny because you think you went and got a massage. That's weird. It's not, man.
No.
I get a massage a lot now, and my wife is really good about she's like, go get a massage. She doesn't want to do it, and I get it, but she sucks at it. Don't put that on tape. But the reality is, utilize that because keeping your muscles loose is important. I've got a fake hip. One of the questions that I always get, and so I have them all. Have you ever been hurt as a rodeo clown? It's like you ever been shocked as a lineman? Yeah. So I've got a fake hip. I've had 3 knee surgeries. I've cracked my skull twice, and I had a shoulder surgery. But those aren't the injuries that really hurt. It's the day-to-day wear and tear. It's the pulling a ligament a little bit, stepping in a hole wrong, walking in work boots. On the job site, you roll your ankle. You do. And then you just keep right on going. It's forgetting about those little injuries, and then they add up. So a physical, it sounds weird, but go in and get a physical. Give blood. Let them do all your levels. Let them check all your things, and just catch minor problems before they develop into major ones. It's like the dentist, right? You have a cavity, go get and get it filled. If you don't, you're getting a root canal, dude.
Yeah.
So what did that teach you?
Yeah.
And that would probably be the best advice I would give people. And don't stop moving. Yeah. I love my dad to death. My real dad, he's almost 80 years old. He was a college basketball player. He was a superstar. And he just was my hero, watching him, his sports and just always moving, played softball leagues and all that stuff. Got a little cancer, beat the cancer, but he quit moving. My dad can hardly walk now.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to get him one of them fake robo bikes.
Moving and like a little bit of resistance training.
Yep.
That's what I found.
Yeah, just keep moving.
Keep what
Don't
you got.
Stop. So at 80 years old, he's like some 95-year-olds. I love that you see these old guys and they keep going and they keep going. And you think, what is it? Well, they give themselves a purpose too, and that's important. If you retire and you just think, hey, I don't have to do anything but sit around now, you got 10 years of your life left. It's the people who are, okay, we're retired. Now we can travel. Now we can go skiing over here. Now we can do all these things that keep you driven. I think your brain mentally, you can never retire.
Yeah.
The minute you retire mentally, you're done.
1,000%.
Just cash in, right?
What's the role of a rodeo clown?
the rule?
The role.
Roll.
Sorry,
So
it's
my
the
job is-
Canadian.
Right. Okay. So here's the roll.
So, bud, what's the
All right,
role?
Yeah. Tell me, bud. Oh, sorry. I think that we fill lulls in the rodeo action as entertainers. So people who come to a rodeo over and over and over again, they know our role. They might figure out that, oh, this guy's funny. He's probably going to do this, or, but the people who have never been to a rodeo, that's my bread and butter right there, because they don't know what's going on. It's like, okay, we're roping the calves over here and they're tying them up. Oh wait, well, now this guy jumps off a horse and he's trying to tackle this. Whoa, this guy's trying to ride a horse that doesn't want him on him. And now they've got ropes. What the crap is going on? We've got 9 different sports rolled into one, right? We call it rodeo. So my job is to fill the lulls when there's hang-ups, when there's a problem in the shoot, when there's time that's down. That's when I connect with the crowd. And a lot of it is interactive stuff. It could be sing-alongs, it could be dance-offs, it could be having fun with self-deprecating humor, having fun with somebody else. It's funny because a lot of rodeo clowns, they don't like me because I get away with stuff that they don't. But I try to tell people the reason I get away with it is because I make fun of myself bigger than anybody.
Yep.
It's the best way to beat a bully is to bully yourself in front of them. You got big ears. Yes, I do. I was an Olympic sprinter if I could tape them back, and then what do you do with that? What's the bully do with that? What's the person, It's like, yeah.
Yeah, Eminem from 8 Mile, just disarm.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I am white. I am my Cheddar Bob Disney. Yeah, I love 8 Mile too. But you're exactly right. It's just putting people at ease by saying, hey, yeah, I got weaknesses. Here they are. You want to talk about them? Sure. I don't care. And there's no better confidence than showing your weakness.
What about the side with the athletes? What's your role with the athletes?
Bull riding is when, I have lots of scary, bad stories when people are injured, and those aren't fun. But my role in the bull riding, I take really serious. And as I've gotten older, and once I had kids, I'm sitting there and I'm looking, what if that was my little boy getting on this bull, And that's my mindset now. What if it was my kid? I'd want my job to go above and beyond to protect that kid. And so I try to, I sometimes I'm even too aggressive, but I work the barrel. So I'm in the barrel of safety, right? They call it. That's my Kevlar vest. Bullfighters wear vests and all this stuff. I don't. You could poke me with a knife right through me and I have nothing on. It's just a silk jersey. So the barrel is my Kevlar vest. So during the bull riding, I can pick it up and I can move it and I can kind of get positioned to where the bullfighters have a place they can go or the bull rider has a place he can go. Now, if the bullfighters come to me, that's fine. Because now they know how to work the barrel. They can flip me down. They can put me between them and the bull.
Gotcha.
And the bull can smack me and hit me. And it doesn't feel good and it does hurt, but it's nothing like not having it. The scary thing though is when the bull rider comes off and he gets to me. Well, now I don't want that bull anywhere near me or him, but sometimes it happens. So I usually will keep a hold of them. I'll just grab their vest or something. And then I'll almost push them the direction I want them to go based on what I think that bull's going to do, But the worst case scenario is that the bull rider runs out to me, stands behind the barrel, and then the bull hits the barrel, and the barrel runs him over, So we try to avoid that.
Yeah.
But that's the role. My role is to be a safe island of safety where they can get to me and use me. And I want to pick it up and move it. I want to get it places. Yeah. And, I think that's the... Let's go Quanta a little bit. That's the sticky part, right?
Yeah.
This is stuff that, every day that I get in that arena could be the last day I'm alive if I don't handle this dangerous stuff the right way.
Talking about Quanta, brand partnerships, how do you approach brand partnerships and how did you come about with Quanta?
So it started, like I think I talked about it with Zane Brink Instructors. Zane, had the stagecoach, got it started. He was developing it and it was getting his toe pretty deep, and he's very vested with Sutton Rodeo. Steve Sutton, they've been around 100 years. Just celebrated that in Rapid. Cool moment.
Wow.
So I think his interest in it, and then his nephew Brandon saw me at the Indian National Finals and brought it back to him. And Brandon was great. He just was like, I think this guy'd be great. And that's how it started. Just started with a conversation. Pretty soon on the phone, we click right away. I mean, Zane and I speak the same language, and I love that guy.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, here's what we want, and then I have endorsements already. You can tell by my shirt, I look like NASCAR a little bit, but I didn't want, the initial thought was kind of we're going to sweep the board. We'll just pay whatever they're paying. We're going to equal all that, but we want just Quanta. And I think I got a little bit of respect from him when I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to do that. I mean, it'd be great. Yeah, money is great, but relationships are bigger. The people are bigger than money. You can give me $10 million today. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I'm not going to break up friendships I already have developed. I have friends. Ranch and Home is an amazing, they've been with me since the beginning. 811, that's called before you dig. That saves our utilities. Why would we want them all, Yep. And so I just kind of went down the line. Do you want a free pair of boots? Why don't you work with me? I got the best boot guys on the planet with Roper and Stetson, Tinall. Like we don't want to do that. All of our rigs, I get a set of tires on my truck, my Quanta vehicle. I just had Les Schwab put a set of tires on for it. So there's a benefit to all of these. They all cross promote with each other. There's nothing that competes, obviously. I wanted to get back to the ambassador for just Quanta. I wanted to brag about our company. I wanted to be a part of it and brag about what we bring to the world, and that comes back to, I know I played my little video for you at the beginning. That was my script. Mm-hmm. I mean, I tweaked it a little bit and got some, and my wife was very helpful, and I got input from Zane and Dave, and but I want people, when they think of Quanta, to know, man, dude, when the lights are out, when danger is looming, Quanta Services shows up. They're there. Operating units from across the world show up through nasty skies, nasty conditions to put your life back together for you, because power runs the world. It does. Mm-hmm. Everybody, I don't care what it is, everything has power to it. And so our communities would fail without Quanta Services. Yeah. And I want people to know that. Yeah. And I think that's the message that I give is that passion for, hey, how about a thank you? When we celebrate, and this is not to knock this in any way, we celebrate our soldiers a lot in our country. We're very patriotic. We celebrate our first responders. Mm-hmm. How often do we celebrate our linemen?
Not often enough.
Not often enough. No. So that's part of it as well. Yeah. I really wanted that message to be out. I wanted people to know, hey, these guys, when the storms are black and the wind is howling and the power's out, they're not waiting for it to stop. They're trying to get your TV back on so you can watch Bluey with your kid, and they're risking their life to do it. And I want people to know. I want people to know who's doing that for them, and that's Quanta Services.
You're a wicked storyteller. I love that. I connect with that. That's why I started this. I just want to tell our stories because they're deeply, passionately connected to it. What's the story you want to tell with Quanta Express, and what's Quanta Express's story?
So Quanta Express, it started with Zane. Reggie, Mr. Probst, he did a great job, elevated it to a new level, got us into some really, really good equipment. We're very safe on the road. We're very flashy on the road. I like that. And then we're kind of back there. We're here at the LazyQ. The thing that I think Dave is behind, and everybody involved with it, everybody who's had their hands in it, what we all want is, we want it to grow. And when people think of stagecoaches, I talked about this in the meeting, the first thing, when I say stagecoach, what do you think of? Wells Fargo. Yeah, not in 5 years. Not in 3 to 5 years, you're gonna think of Quanta Express. I want this to grow so big that we are not only at rodeos, but we are the premier stagecoach line in the country, Canada included. I want to be everywhere. I want to have 25 stagecoaches at the end of this. I want people to be calling the LazyQ constantly. Hey, can we get the stagecoach here? Can we do this? Mr. Woodbury is great. Mr. Walt Woodbury. Yep. Yeah, stud. He's like, I want to hear, because he sees it. He sees what our goal is, what our message is, and that is we want growth. We want it to stand out. And it's a cool thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's beautiful. Horses, it's strength, it's power. When 6 horses runs by you, that's what Quanta Services feeling is in your gut. When you feel that, that's us, baby. We got it. We're coming. We're gonna save the day. And I think that's the inspiration that the stagecoach brings.
Love that.
But my goal is that, I want us to be at the national finals rodeo. I want us to be at large scale college football games. We can run, heck yeah, we can run that stagecoach around the deal. We can do a perimeter burn. We can do all kinds of stuff for you. But to do that, you got to have safety. Has to be a priority. And so every day before we do a daily safety sheet every day before we practice or perform. And that's where Tyrell, he's my safety officer. And, it's funny because he's a cowboy. So safety is not typically our thing. Yeah. We're, safe to third, baby. But he's taken the job really serious, done a phenomenal job with it. And,
that's good. Maybe we can teach, the cowboy industry, a little bit about some safety.
Honestly,
it's not going to hurt anything.
I mean, it still amazes me today when bull rider isn't wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the weight of it. It throws my head off, and I've heard all the excuses, but I've also gone to the infirmaries. Yeah. And so, I can't. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's protective equipment. They're making them so lightweight now. Like, come on, man. As advancements in safety happen, if you're not if you're not on board with new safety gear, you're really just asking for problems. And that's what's nice about, David in particular, Dave and Trevor were phenomenal. I think I might have talked about this, but we had an F-350 pulling way too much weight. Mm-hmm. That Bloomer trailer is heavy, it's big. We're going to put 6 1,400-pound horses in it. Yeah. You're not going to be able to stop it. My guy gets in trouble and he's got to slam on the brake. It was about a 40-second conversation with Dave, and we were getting a mini Pete that can stop this, because if it's about safety, Quanta Services got your back. Yeah. And I love that. I've said this, and maybe I'm making this up, but I think Quanta could buy anything in the world, any piece of equipment in the world, anything. If we need it, we can run out and buy it. What we can't buy is people. Yep. What we can't buy is our best resource are the people who operate the equipment, the people who, and maybe I'm sure somebody else has said that, but the reality is you cannot buy your most important resource. You got to build it, and you got to protect it. And so you got to train, and you got to give the right safety gear to keep people moving forward.
So what's a piece of your role in that? I'm so happy you brought that up. That's the segue into this, into the people side of it. And it's so important. How are you connecting with, say, the next generation, with those potential tradespeople out there? How are you helping to see that, come to fruition?
Yeah. Well, this is where you and I get to cross up a little bit, because I get the opportunity to work with your son, on the phone, I can tell already he's impressive. One of the components that I get to do is the line school down here, Mr. Warren School, is incredible. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the, I always say the Marine Corps, this is where the best of the best come out. Yeah. I really believe that. Yeah. And it's not to knock the other schools, because they're good schools, and there's a lot of great learning, and heck, you can go through those schools and you can have a flourishing career. But I think it's going to fast track your career to come through this program. Mm-hmm. I think you can get here from any school, from any training, but you can get there faster. You're not going up the mountain, down the valley, and back up. You're taking the elevator to the top. And so I get that opportunity to meet those kids that are going to have a possibility of getting into this field. And then we, as Quanta Express, we can scholarship, so to speak, coming out of my budget, a student, and we can put him right into the line school. And
very cool.
It's going to be awesome. And that way, that's our way to give back, because, and this is fun too. Mr. Warren told me this, that when they graduate, they're not required to work for a Quanta company. This is how much they believe in the industry. Is it, if it was me.
It's just giving to the industry. Yeah. This is what,
If it was me and I was teaching rodeo clowns, I had a rodeo clown school. And so I train all these kids, and I put all my heart and soul and time and money, investment into these kids. And I say, okay, look, I'm getting old. I can't do these 5 rodeos. So you're done. I don't want to work those 5 rodeos. Mm-hmm. I got to be able to say, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. But I trained you. I did all this. They don't care. But you're better in the field. You're going to be a fantastic rodeo clown over here. Maybe someday these rodeos will benefit from your training. But you know, I mean, that's pretty cool.
I'll give you a way I was looking at that. I love that you said that. When Hudson came to me and was like, I think I want to be a lineman. I must have asked this question to other people, like on the podcast or just in general, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Would you like your son or daughter, could you see your son or daughter, would support your son or daughter in the line industry, becoming a lineman?
Yeah.
And I've asked people that question, but I was faced with it then when he told me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, like this is real. I really got to think about this now. Like, what do I want you in this industry?
Yeah.
And it was almost like a near-death experience where you like your whole life flashes before your eyes. My whole career just flashed before my eyes. Like all the good, all the bad, all the near misses I've had, all the shitty leaders I've had to work for.
Yeah.
But I also thought about all the good leaders I've worked for, the brotherhood and camaraderie, the amazing moments out in the industry that I've had. Mm-hmm. And it came down to like, yes, I would like you in this industry, but you got to work for, I know this is going to sound like I'm just preaching, but like you got to work for Quanta. Because when I came to work for Quanta, and again, preach, whatever. Yeah. Take it for them, however they want to take it. Honest to God though, when I came here, I knew that I had the best chance of like survival, because not just survival, but like I was going to get to do all of the cool things I wanted to do in the trade, because I could work with helicopters, I could get bare hand trained, the best equipment, the best people, like-minded people that were safe. They were trying to get home every night. They were trying to do a really great job, but be really safe and passionate about it. I got to work with those people now, and I got to, if I wanted to, I could sign up for those things and get to those points, and I did. And I'm here still. And so like, I want that for him, you know? And that's what's so cool about Quanta is like, okay, we'll train you to that, and go work for the competitor. I don't care, because it's benefiting everyone else that's like me out there. You know, it's like, okay, I got to sign my kid up for this now.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
But it helps knowing that there's like training like this and support like this in the industry. Yeah,
I'm facing it right now. My son, he doesn't want to be a rodeo guy, thank God, but we're pilots in my family. We have we have a little Cessna 180, and I fly, and he wants to be a commercial pilot. And when he started that, I was like, that's really cool, man. I kind of thought, I kind of wanted to do that. I think it'd be awesome. And then I started thinking like, yeah, but they do come out of the sky. They you start going, when you're a kid, and then the mishap in DC, it was just like, oh, what if that was my kid flying that plane? What if, so it's scary. And as a dad, I think dads, we just want to put everybody under our wing. Man, I'll take shots, One of my favorite pictures ever is it's a father and a son, and the father's just got pieces pulled out of his silhouette. Just tons of, have you seen it?
Yep.
And the son is fully there, except there's one little piece. And the dad's handing him that piece. And that's what good dads are, man. We'll give everything we have for our kids, but putting them in a situation where it could be unsafe, it's tough. So I think you're on track. And I think, Hudson, in visiting with him, it's crazy how smart he is.
Thanks.
I mean, he gets the field. He wants to make you proud, which is important. That's an important part for him, but he wants to find it himself. And I think that's what, that's what I said. Hey, you guys think about it, talk about it, come back. When you ram it, let's go. Because it's not going to be easy.
No.
I mean, you're a titan in this field, but guess what? That's not going to, he doesn't get a green card, a little card to just whip right through the program. It's going to be hard for him. And so that's what I love, and that's what I like. I think this line school, coming out of this, he will have got the very best training he could possibly get. And like you say, he's going to have the best equipment. And he's got that really damn cool logo on his shirt. There's just something to this bad boy, right?
Heck yeah. I love that. What's the future for Quanta Express? Where are you at? Where are you going?
It's growth. Right now we're in keeping the wheels on the wagon and keep that thing rolling. I want to expand. We've already got a second coach, thanks to Dave and Trevor and Zane. We've got a LazyQ stage line that's being built as we speak. We're purchasing new horses. I want to have, I think there's 5 of us in the field now. I think easily in 2 years it could be closer to 15. We need more staff. We need people. The 300 that we call it here at the LazyQ, that's where we're housing, facilitating the program. And I mean, you cannot ask for a better place. Hagen Thomas is kind of spearheads it down there. And I mean, he's he's a cowboy.
Yeah.
You know, so he's our trainer. He's taking care of our critters when we're on the road. And the idea is that you can do like a hockey guy. Yo, line swap, or what do you do up there? What's a line swap mean? I don't know.
He's just a shift
Cut
change.
those guys,
Shift change.
put the new guys on. I don't know. I'm not Canadian, but you know what I'm saying? Like we have a problem with a horse. We got a team, and a team is 2 horses. That was kind of misconception. Even I had. When you say you have a team of horses, a team is 2, and a hitch is 4 to 6 to 8 to whatever. So if we have a hitch problem, we can just go, send us up 6 horses, throw them in the Logan trailer. He meets us somewhere. We plug them in. We keep right on going. We keep the job going, and through adversities. And the hard part is, it's alive. It's, you know, we're used to equipment. If you put a truck over here and set it down, and it ran great, it's probably going to run great when you go start it back up. With horses,
You can't just do an engine swap.
I mean, you can set a horse in a pen. He's healthy as all heck, and he rolls and swings his leg over and cracks his hoof against the safe pin, the pipe pin that you built for him. Like, they're still animals, and you know, they just, you know, I've always said, children, you know, live animals and small children will make a fool out of you when you try to count on them. And, you know, hey, watch what my kid can do. Check this out. And then, you know, you're just like, oh, my God. So it's keeping the best performance we can give to everybody, and keeping the growth going, keeping the behind-the-scenes stuff working. Because literally, you know, I really hope I have longevity in this job. I love it. I love the guys I work with. I love the guys that work with me or for me or whatever you want to call it. But I really love Quanta. You know, from getting to meet Mr. Colson and I mean, the day I met him, I took a selfie with him. Like, what a weirdo, right? Like, and I did the same thing with Mr. Austin. Like, I was sitting in the back, I called my wife. I was like, literally, Duke Austin is in the room with me right now, and Carl and all these guys. Seth is here from PJ Helicopters. It's great. The who's who of Quanta in here. My wife was like, calm down, you buckethead. You're gonna sound like an idiot. And so I hung up and I tried to play it cool.
That's my job.
I tried to play it cool, you know. But and this happens to me all the time. People get caught up in the moment, and I've got a little spark of celebrity at rodeos, right? And the funny thing is, when they come up and they tell me who I am, that's my favorite thing. Hey, you're JJ Harrison. Are you kidding me? I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, so dumb. And so all I could think is, don't do that to Duke. Don't do that to Duke. Oh, you're Duke Austin. Yeah.
Love that.
And I did, and I played it cool. Mr. Austin, how you doing? I'm JJ. And
Pull
I
it
took a
together.
selfie with him. He said, poor guy's trying to get a tea, and I'm like, can we do a selfie? But I'm that inspired by this company. I just am, and I love passionate people, and I love to be a passionate person about what I care about. And I'm not a lineman. I'm a cowboy, but I want my message to grow so big that everybody knows that linemen are first responders.
Amazing.
We need to celebrate it. Let's celebrate these people who are saving our lives every day. Hospitals you lose the power in a hospital, people die.
Yeah.
And they jump in immediately through storms, through weather, through adversity, and get the lights and everything functioning back on so that the MRI machine can work, so that we can save Grandpa because he's got a colon something. But, you know, who knows what, I'm not a doctor, you can tell. But it's like, see the whole story all the way through. Yeah. We're superheroes. I mean, honestly, linemen should wear capes.
Well, okay, explain this a little bit. Maybe we'll close on this because I think it'll be really good. Because I try to tell the ranch rodeo community that listens how great the trades are for, and how much it works to get. Why is, from your perspective, to your community, why are the trades or line work or like, why is it good for your community?
Well, I'll just give you my spiel. So I worked for the Ag Center of Excellence when I was in transitioning from just school teaching to rodeo. I worked at the community college in Walla Walla, had an Ag Center of Excellence, and they put me in high school classrooms, and I talked about exactly that. I talked about the agriculture field. And I mean, do you know what percentage of people in agriculture are farmers? 5%. 5% of the people in agriculture are actually farmers. That's it. But when you think of agriculture, everybody's going to say farmer. It's like the Air Force.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
in the Air Force, how many people fly airplanes?
Like 5%.
5%.
Yeah.
95%
Support
it, make it happen, or other fields.
Yeah.
And so with agriculture, the Ag Center of Excellence, welding falls into that. All these other trades, John Deere Tech, diesel. Diesel's huge. Diesel's everywhere. You want to be a diesel mechanic, you can do anything, anytime, anywhere, because everything in the world is involved in diesel in some capacity. It just is.
Sure.
The parts either got there by a diesel truck, or they came on a ship that runs on diesel. So, you know, that's you're always going to have a gig. And so part of what I would do is I would just say to kids, you know, let's break this down. Let's look at it from a supply and demand perspective. And at the time, now my data is old, okay, don't fact check me on this, but at the time, I'm a Washington State University graduate. And so I used Washington State and I pulled the information from them in Washington State in 2003 or 4, I think it was. How many psychology and communication majors did they graduate? And it was like 4,300. 4,300 that came out in that field. So think about supply and demand. Where are those guys working? I got a psych degree. I got a 4-year degree. I paid $100,000 to get a 4-year degree in psychology, and I work at Starbucks. You know, I'm very smart. I'm very analytical. I appreciate my education. It helped me as a human being, but there's no tangible job sitting there waiting at the end of that degree. And so I would constantly push on these kids, especially the ag kids, is that, hey, what's the job you want? Work backwards from there. And then supply and demand. Let's talk pay scale. Let's go right to pay scale. I have a master's degree in education. I taught school for 8 years. I coached 3 sports. At the time, in 2008, I made $48,000 a year.
Wow.
$48,000 a year with a master's degree. And think of what that cost me to get it. All those tuitions, plus I coached those 3 sports, which are additional bumps.
Yep.
$48,000 a year. In rodeoing. I'm not tooting my horn.
Yeah.
In rodeoing, in 3 months, I made $31,000 my first year. And it wasn't hard for me to go, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I got more time, I can expand. But it comes down to supply and demand.
Yep.
And we don't have enough linemen. You open up a lineman job, I guarantee you, you're good to get 5 applicants.
Yep.
You know, at the big job, right?
100%.
But if you have a psychology job or a communication job or a teaching job, you're going to get 25, 30 applicants. It comes down to supply and demand. So when you're a kid and you're determining what you want to do with your life, let's put this into perspective for you. And honestly, going off to college I mean, my mom, love her to death, but she was so mad at me when I wasn't making her run off and go get a 4-year degree. My son is he's advanced. My kid is going to graduate with his high school diploma, his AA degree, because he did running start, so his first 2 years of college are already done, and he has his pilot's license. He's 17 years old.
Damn.
And she wants him to run off and go to a 4-year school right away. I said, no, he wants to be a commercial pilot.
Yep.
There's no sense going to go get a business degree or some, you know, I shouldn't make it sound like it's bad.
It's just not for everyone.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or if it's a BS degree, then where's the job? What's the tangible job at the end? He wants to be an airline captain.
Unless you got a goal to be,
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants to fly airplanes for a living.
Yeah.
Then let's send him to a flight school where he gets those instructions, where he gets that information. And so, and she's on board now. You know, my mom, she's on board now. But she was pretty upset. You know, he'll eventually get his bachelor's degree. He will.
Yeah.
But
in his time,
running off and doing the 4-year college thing just isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
And now I love America because our pay scale is starting to reflect that.
Yeah.
It used to be that, do you want to make $42,000 a year? Get an AA degree. If you want $58,000, get a 4-year degree. And then the master's, and then the doctorate, and it was like the pay scale went like this.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Joe Welder.
Yeah.
You want to make $140,000? How about you just start with this 8-week program I did? You know, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's like, but it comes down to supply and demand. It comes down to, are we filling the jobs and infrastructure? And Quanta nails it. I mean, they are. I mean, from the line school here to NLC to all of them, they want to advance this field, and they want the pay scale to continue to rise. And that's the other great thing about this company. I'm really off on a tangent, I'm sorry. But the passionate thing is that the more they rise, the more they bring people with them. And that includes pay.
And that's always been the goal.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's super cool. Well, dude, I appreciate the convo. I'll get you back to where you need to be, but where can people see Quanta Express in the next couple spots?
Honestly, the easiest way, because we don't have a social media, we're working on it. We need to get that. Yeah. We don't have a social media page, so you can follow me. And JJ Harrison is my Facebook. I have a like page there. We also have Instagram, JJ Harrison 811. You know, and it is got the Quanta Express schedule on it. Has my schedule as well. But follow those things. Just follow them. Send me messages. My wife runs all of the social media. It's not my thing. But I'm her show pony, so I just dance when she says dance. But she will respond to messages, you know, especially if they have the buzzword is going to be Quanta.
Yeah.
You know, if you're asking a Quanta question, my wife is going to.
Cool.
You know, you ask have you ever been hurt? She's going to probably skip that one. Watch the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get all the answers here.
So please follow all of our social media stuff until we develop the Quanta Express social medias. I think that's probably going to be the best. Just follow it under my name.
Cool, buddy. Appreciate you.
Back at you, brother.
Thank you, dude.
Enjoyed it.
This content is completely free. All right. The only thing I'm asking you for is to hit that subscribe button. And I know it's cheesy. I know it's corny. I know every YouTuber asks you to hit that button and you're probably sick and tired of it. But if you like the show and you want to see the show grow, this is the way I prove to the people in charge that it's worth investing in. So it's pretty simple and it's the price you can pay for me. It's no money. It's just a subscribe. Please hit the subscribe and I appreciate the heck out of you for it.